This is my backyard. 1770 to the Boyne Valley. Gladstone all the way to Lady Musgrave Island. This is my home, and I will explore every last place.
Where do you wanna go? Mountain and the sky. Where do you wanna go? Well, maybe we could fly. Where do you wanna go? It's time to wonder why. Where do you wanna go? Why we're still got time. And while I've waited, won't you wait with me? And while I'm waiting, won't you set me free? Go on and set me free.
Your next holiday is closer than you think. Enjoy an array of activities on offer and celebrate Easter in Gladstone. Gladstone Regional Council's village precinct comes alive to host a range of events. Easter in Gladstone. You'll be glad you did.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
Welcome to the Gladstone Ports Corporation 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, Queensland's most iconic yacht race and one of Australia's flagship sailing events. I'm Ian Gidlow, Commodore of the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, and on behalf of the club I'm delighted to be able to bring you the start of our great race through the magic of live streaming to enjoy wherever you are, all over the world. QCYC is immensely proud of the reputation and stature of our mighty race. This year we have a race fleet of 37 yachts with crews that range from the top sailing professionals who compete throughout the world through to family-owned cruiser races crewed by mere mortals. Each and every one of them brilliantly campaigned. Expect to see some thrilling moments in Australian sailing as our fleet race over 308 nautical miles in what I tip to be one of the most open fields in memory. An enormous thank you to our naming rights partner, Gladstone Ports Corporation, Platinum Partners, Gladstone Regional Council and Adina Watches, and all other sponsors that make this race possible. Now sit back and enjoy what looks to be one of the most colourful and thrilling spinnaker races to the finish.
Hi, I'm David Osman, Gladstone Ports Corporation's Marina Superintendent. As naming rights sponsor of the iconic Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, we're excited to be welcoming in the boats this Easter. We've installed over 100 metres of exhibition pontoon at O'Connell Wharf to welcome in the race leaders, and we've moved the finish line to off Patsy Lee Place on East Shores to allow the community to come on down and cheer the boats on as they come across the finish line. Our team's going to be working really hard over this weekend. We're running 24/7 to welcome the boats in. So if you're back in Gladstone, make sure you come on down to East Shores and cheer the boats on as they come across the finish line. And for those that are in the race, good luck with the sailing, and we hope to see you in Gladstone.
On behalf of the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, the hosting authority for the 74th Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, being streamed live to the world through the Brisbane to Gladstone Facebook page, through our friends at Australian Sailing and their online audience, through the official B2G website, brisbanetogladstone.com, through connected partner sites around the world, on the jumbo screen at East Shores, those watching at the Sandgate Blue Water Festival, the Redcliffe Festival of Sails and the Harbour Festival in Gladstone, and finally the first of the B2G events. Good morning to those going to the long lunch being held at the B2G Village in Gladstone today. And may I just say, happy 50th birthday to the Butcher twins. Welcome to a blustery Moreton Bay in the beautiful sunshine state of Queensland, Australia. I'm Grant Cooper, and joining me in commentary this morning are two incredibly well-known yachting personalities. Firstly, 3 times Australian champion yachtsman, sports commentator, MC, writer, sounds like a rap person, MC, writer, sailing instructor, coach, well-known host of the Bar Karate, the sailing podcast, with a couple of other sailing reprobates. Just back from Sail GP in San Francisco. Welcome back, Jordan Spencer. Good to see you, mate.
G'day, mate. Great to be here. I'm very excited. Communicating with the world. The Brisbane to Gladstone. This is home, mate. We're so excited.
This is beautiful. And returning to the desk after being locked out of Queensland for a couple of years, she managed to get her way through the dingo fence today. Fresh from her reporting from our friends at the Sail Port Stephens event. G'day to everyone down there. We're all primed to have her back, our regular blonde Energizer bunny. 3-time world champ and yachting journalist, sailor girl Nick Douglas. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Grant. It's so good to be back. I really missed you guys the past few years. 1 year because we didn't get a race, and then last year I just couldn't get across the fence. I am short, but, you know, so be it.
Well, here we are. 37 yachts taking to the water in this year's race, and of those 37 yachts, any one of them can be taking home the Courier Mail Cup. As Commodore Ian Gidlow said at the start of this broadcast, it's one of the most open fields in memory. There is some good yachting rivalries that are going to be taking place today, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into them. I mean, never before have we had the Sydney to Hobart Tattersall Cup winner, Ichi, the line honours winner and first ever Queensland boat to win the Sydney to Hobart over the line, BlackJack, and the King of the Derwent, Maritimo, all in the same race here in Queensland.
Yeah, it's going to be very special, and there's a few little rivalries that probably needed to be sorted out on the water as well following some of those races. But, you know, also you mentioned the King of the Derwent, but there are multiple previous Hobart champions, most importantly, Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone winners as well that have returned to try and, you know, put their name on the trophy again. Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, we've got the Goliath-killing ways of last year's Courier Courier Mail Cup winner Wistari in their standalone record 52nd race this year. So they are now the official standalone racing record holder, should they get across the line. I'm sure they will. And hopefully later on in the broadcast, we'll be talking to the team out on the water after the start. First time, we're fingers crossed, hoping to be going to Wistari after the start of the race. Well, guys, I am pretty excited about what's going on. We have got some rivalries that are going to be taking place today, and one of them I'd like to just quickly go into nice and early is last year at the Sydney to Hobart, in dramatic circumstances, Celeste was pipped Celestial, was pipped of her Tattersall Cup win in a protest room, which is a fair and reasonable way that it'll happen. Absolutely.
So, but they have something to prove as a TP52 up against a previous Courier Mail Cup winner in Ichi. Is this going to be a grudge match?
I think that we can definitely say that both teams have something to prove. I spent more time on the steps in that yacht club during the Rolex Sydney Hobart than I did on the Derwent. You know, the protest was said and done and won, but everybody, you know, you're only as good as your last race, effectively. So I'm looking forward to seeing both teams get out there and race it on the water, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, Ichi is one of 2 other yachts that have won the Tattersall Cup 3 times, and they're definitely going to be hard to beat. Celestial have a few new people to their crew, including Luke Parkinson, Phil Harmer, Wendy. They've basically got Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing on board their team this event. So it's going to be really interesting, and it will definitely be a battle of the titans between those 2 52s. But we can't forget the RP66, Stefan Racing. They're all going to be quick off the mark, and it's not just about the 52s.
Okay, well, we'll get to talk about these boats a bit more in a second. Duncan, but we would like to talk to you about sailingonline.org, the virtual Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. It's back again this year. It is a lot of fun from wherever you are around the world. You can actually jump aboard Peter Harburg's BlackJack. It is the 100-footer that will be starting virtually. If you've had a crack at it, it's a lot of fun, but take it from me, it's not as easy as you may think. I did it a couple of years ago when the race was abandoned due to COVID, and I managed to finish top 10. However, going to sleep between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. was not a good thing to do. I got a little bit too far off Fraser Island, but it's a lot of fun.
I've run aground before. I think what we'll do, Grant, we'll make a team and Jordan can do the night watch. What do you reckon?
You prepared to do that, mate?
You're welcome.
Not a chance.
So make sure you have a look at that. You can get to that via the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race page, web page, and please have a crack at that. Also, while we're talking about the brisbane-to-gladstone.com website, there is the YB tracker, or it used to be known as the Yellow Brick Tracker. I think it's just YB now. Now, this app allows you to follow the race live on your phone, your iPad. You can download it to your phone or your iPad, or you can watch it from the web page itself. But there's a lot of great features on this.
Absolutely, and you can see there that the yachts are all starting to mingle around the start. It is 48 minutes just over until we will see these 37 yachts heading north. Don't mind me, I get very excited. We can't forget there's also 6 double-handed entries as well that you can follow. But on the YB tracker, you can select which boats you want to specifically follow the whole fleet. You can press play, you can rewind. You can see where all your mistakes were, Geordie.
You can also see it's quite an onerous course at the start because of the shallow waters around there. So that's it's good for you just to understand where the boats are going to go. So, but yeah, jump on board and enjoy it. It's good fun.
Terrific stuff. Listen, we have got some very important people that we need to have a chat with, and one of them is the gentleman who will be starting this year's race, and that is Professor Graham Nimmo, RFD. And let's now cross to Natalie Cooper, who's down dockside, who will have a chat with the Professor right now.
Professor Nimmo, thank you so much for joining me here on this glorious day here at the QCYC.
It's a great pleasure.
Amazing. Hey, along with Her Excellency, the Governor of Queensland, you've been a patron of the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club for quite some time now. When did your love of sailing begin?
Well, look, a bit of a false start. I did sail in sabots when I was at school, but it really began when I acquired one of those old windsurfers. So I did a lot of sailboarding on Moreton Bay in my 20s. Then friends of mine had a succession of multi-hulls, and I crewed for them for something like 15 years, and we had a wonderful time sailing, particularly on Moreton Bay, but also cruising the Whitsundays.
Fabulous.
Great fun.
That sounds amazing.
Yes.
So what are you most looking forward to about this year's Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race?
Well, look, I'm looking forward to starting the race and seeing the fleet head north. I think it's a beautiful day for it. We've got a lovely stiff breeze, the sun's shining. What could be better?
Oh, absolutely. And what is it about this event that makes it so special for you?
Well, look, I think it's the premier yachting event in Queensland, and it's one of the great sailing races in Australia. And I believe there's a tremendously strong fleet this year, so I'm looking forward to some really good sailing.
And you're off on the start boat now, so we're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. No, that'll be great fun.
You have an amazing time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
Back to you, Grant.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
And welcome back as we broadcast live to the world. And we have shots there of the magnificent Moreton Bay and the boats and yachts they're starting to mill around that starting area. Only 45 minutes from the start of the race, and things are starting to happen. So we've got a lot of boats to get through today, and we're going to try and get through as most of them as we can. So one of the boats that we'd like to talk about straight away is going to be one of the front runners, and that is Stefan Racing. And we're lucky enough, Grant Wharington has allowed us to have a camera on the back of Stefan Racing today. So we're looking forward to seeing this boat, 80 foot long and ready to go like anything. Jordan?
Yeah, a boat and 80. For those around the world, they probably recognise this as it's the old Carl Kwok boat. It used to be known as Beau Jess, so a canting keeler. Definitely quick, very talented crew on board, and very hard to miss on the water.
Indeed, it's absolutely stunning. But they're one that can't be dismissed in regards to line honours as well. I know we've got the 100-footer BlackJack, but we saw last year that it's not all over just because a boat starts. You have to finish, and these guys are finishers, and they ripped into Hobart this year as well. So.
Yeah, big canting keel on that one. She's actually was planning to do it a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, they got a little bit of a COVID situation as well. So we welcome, good to see Grant Wharington. I know that Grant Cooper fella. Don't worry about him. He won't be on the boat today. But be good to see Grant back in Gladstone. So here we have Matrix.
Indeed, owned by Graham Furtado, X41. He got it in 2016, done a few Hobarts, and I think he's done every Brisbane to Keppel and Brisbane to Gladstone since he had it minus last year.
Yeah, 2018 was a fantastic year for Matrix, actually, a crew. Awesome result in the B&G and a clean sweep at Hamo. And a very credible result in the Rolex Sydney to Hobart to cap off the year. So they had a great 2018 and they're looking forward to another great race today. So he does say here, while his larrikin crew may look casual and chilled on the start line, don't be fooled. There's no shortage of ocean racing experience on board. And we look forward to seeing those guys get into Gladstone nice and early. So there's a couple of the boats that will be heading north, and we've got quite a few more to be able to feature today. And another one that we'd like to be able to have a bit of a chat about is Mayfair. Now, I'm keen on this boat.
You like this boat? I think.
Why?
Have you done a bit of sailing on it, or you just like it?
I just like it.
You just like it.
I just like it. It was actually third overall in IRC in 2018 on the Sydney to Hobart, but that was as it was known at the time as Voodoo. So look, there's some really good prestige about this boat, and I reckon she's going to play nicely in IRC.
She likes a bit of breeze. It's a Rogers 46 design. They like a bit of pressure. Certainly handles going downwind quite well. In plenty of pressure, she goes very well. Easy boat to sail, easy boat to steer. They've got their wish this year. I've got to say, I'm so excited about this year. I always wish I was sailing.
I know we're going to lose him. We've got Fletch on board as well. You know, anything he touches turns to gold. So we'll see how they go. But this boat is an absolute ripper downwind, and that's really what we're looking for in this race. Predominantly downwind with these south-southeasters, switching round to a sou'easter.
Talking about race favourites, this would have to be the race favourite, Ichi with Gordon Maguire on the helm. Of course, Matt Allen's a fantastic boat, and the current Tattersall Cup holder of the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race.
Indeed, and they've won, oh my gosh, so many races in the past 5 years since they actually got the boat new in 2017. It's not funny. And then to top it off, Matt Belcher is sort of trying to transition from Olympic sailing. He's won a gold, a silver and a gold in the last 3 Olympic Games now, our most successful male Olympic athlete in sailing ever. And he's jumped on the crew since your favourite race, the Adelaide to Lincoln.
Yes, I do like that race there, and g'day to all my friends watching in Port Lincoln.
Yeah, there's a bit of banter going on as to which is the bigger blue water race, the Hobart, the Brisbane to Gladstone, or the Adelaide to Lincoln.
And what are we counting as blue water here, fellas? I mean,
well,
the Gulf isn't always blue, honestly.
Look, there we can see on camera alive. This is an old BlackJack from years gone by with Duncan Hayne. We hope to be chatting with Duncan Hayne very soon, actually, and we'll get him live on this broadcast.
Absolutely,
but beautiful boat.
Beautiful boat. I've sailed on it actually. Absolute glamour, and I have to say that I would put money on that in a downwind as well. The RPs really love going downhill, and it's an RP 66. BlackJack's an RP 100, so you can see they're quite similar in their profiles, and it's not hard to mistake it for being an ex-BlackJack.
Good all-round boats as well, 100%. And well sailed this boat. You know, it's won the Hobart, so you know there's some real talent on board that boat. Stu Bannatyne's jumped on, so he's one of the great sailors you want to go to sea with. Lucas Chapman's on there, so you've got some talent on that boat.
Ocean Essence, we spoke with Brian Bailey in our Before the Start series this year, and Brian has over 50 years of racing experience, but he's going up to Gladstone with only 2 people on board, himself and Mike Gibson, and they're in the double-handed category. You won't miss this boat when they pop a chute, Geordie.
No, big bright kite, a big yellow kite. The one thing about this boat is she's luxury. She's luxury. There's no missing. It's a due for 5-12 grand large, so you'll definitely be comfortable, double-handed. Good luck to them.
Okay, this is the Maritimo, last year's winner. And
Line honours.
For line honours last year. Michael Spees, wherever you're watching, Michael, we believe he's not well at the moment and has handed the skippering duties on. But as you can see, we have a wonderful camera on board, and we thank the Maritimo team for allowing us on board their boat today. And this boat is, this rates incredibly well on IRC. I mean, that was the reason they bought it.
Yep, probably don't want a downwind race, though, to be honest. If they need everyone's masts to fall out of the boat just to get the win, I would suggest they prefer to bash upwind.
That happened last year, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So that's how they got the line on us. So one to watch. They've selected it for exactly that reason, that it will rate extremely well and it'll survive tough conditions. So
incredibly well prepared. I had a little bit of a look at it yesterday. It was down on the dock here at the QCYC this morning. It's looking schmick and ready to go, but as you say, more of an upwind boat. But yeah, shout out to Michael Spees, who's probably watching this live stream and sharing it with the world.
Excellent stuff, and thank you to Bill Barry-Cotter and their wonderful team. Talking about people that we spoke to before the start in our little 5-episode series, which Richard went and his team on Momentum, and it was lovely to speak to these guys, Geordie.
Yeah, it was. And Louisa Rust, his wife, and a great friend of mine. Louisa, I actually work with her, and she is a fantastic human being. Their daughter Madeline is on board. This is a team. Even David Lambourne's on the boat, I just noticed. So Lambourne, who's he's the biggest rigger in town. Fantastic people. They're here to have a good time. It's a Beneteau Oceanus 50, so probably not racing for line honours wins or rating win, but just they're going to have a grand time, and our lovely people can't wait to see how well they do.
It was lovely chatting with them prior to the start in our before the start episodes, and they're a fun bunch.
I was going to say, if anybody hasn't watched the interview that Grant organised before the start with this team, with Momentum, you should go and have a look at it. Richard tells us about a few stories, as does Louisa, and they're just absolutely incredible. It shows you the depth of talent and experience across this Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race.
You are currently watching, with thanks to the Gladstone Ports Corporation, the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, of course, with thanks to our friends at the Gladstone Regional Council. Easter in Gladstone. Gladstone comes alive, and if you've ever got the opportunity of being in Gladstone over the Easter period, you will absolutely love it. But you are watching it. It's the 74th Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
Your next holiday is closer than you think. Enjoy an array of activities on offer and celebrate Easter in Gladstone. Gladstone Regional Council's Village Precinct comes alive to host a range of events. Easter in Gladstone. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to beautiful Moreton Bay in sunny Queensland. Perfect one day, even better the next. And it is just a glorious picture out on the water there. These drone shots are fantastic, just showing you the race area. But I will say that it looks all nice and relatively calm there in the bay. But we've got some, well, less than calm conditions them heading into. So what we might even do is have a look at the windy forecast if we can. So I'll hand this to our resident weather expert, Geordie. Give us a bit of a rundown.
Okay, I've inherited a new title. I love it. Look, it's typical Queensland weather for this time of year. We've got at the moment it's south-southeast. It will be a southeaster. You can see on the wind strength there, 20 to 25 knots. It's perfect conditions for these boats, just running all the way into Gladstone. What you see in the morning here is that the wind actually compresses on the coast and it goes a little more south. As the day goes on, it goes further and further to the southeast. So it'll get stronger throughout the night. You can see there the pressure will pick up into the 30s, so it's going to be challenging. Get a lot of loading and pressure at the top of Fraser Island there, and the swell really starts to run. From a tactical perspective, this is where the boats without asymmetrical rigs will come into play, because it's dead downwind into the finish at Gladstone. So look, we're expecting pretty windy, 20 to 25 up to 30. Downwind, dream conditions. It's warm. It's what you write home for when you're fantasising about a race. So this is perfect. No one could be happier.
And you can
if
see,
we can have a look at the currents, this is really important. Michael is going to press the currents now. Now have a look at this. So it's not just about finding the wind; it's also about finding the current.
That's it.
Or avoiding the current.
Avoiding the current. Yeah, in this instance, it's avoiding. It does move around. So most people that watch Finding Nemo will know about the East Coast current.
The EAC dude.
The EAC dude. You can see it's actually quite close to shore, and there's quite a bit going on, and it'll change through the day. So that current is sort of moving north to south, a little bit towards the west. So the boats will tend to stay in close to shore. So there's favourable current running up the coast. So you'll see boats quite close to shore. Great for spectating.
Terrific stuff. I think we're ready to cross to one of our boats in a live sense today, which is fantastic and a great addition to the live streaming of the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. And sitting on board alive is the RP66 is Duncan Hayne, and we've got Duncan, or hopefully we'll have Duncan here any second. Duncan, can you hear us?
I can.
Terrific, Duncan.
Yep.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for having us on board. Perhaps you could give us a little bit of an indication of conditions out there, and feel free to introduce your crew.
Well, it's not a nice breeze, 18 knots or something like that, up to. The fleet's pretty busy here. Pretty busy. They're just setting up, getting the boat in order, ready for what we expect. And we're just enjoying this nice, warm Brisbane weather.
Indeed. Now, Duncan, you are a proud Tasmanian, and since the last time we've seen you doing this yacht race, you've won a Hobart, you've won the Launceston to Hobart. You've had a ripper few years. How are you feeling going into today?
A little bit nervous always. I mean, it's always a good thing to be a little bit nervous, a bit excited. Every yacht race is important, and we have won this yacht race in the past, so it's even more important, and it's a fun race every time.
Excellent. So, I mean, what are your crew hoping for? Do you think you can take it away? What are your models looking like?
I sort of, looking at the weather, I have that sort of feeling that it may be a TP52 race. But who knows? You just don't know any of these things. It's offshore. We love offshore races, and we'll give it our best shot, and hopefully, we might get to stand on the podium somewhere.
Duncan, Jordan here, mate. Just a quick question on the start. Are you going to be at the boat end or the pin end, and what sort of gear are you going to have up?
I'm not going to tell you that.
It was worth a try.
Worth a try.
I suppose for us, we'll probably try to stand clear of the bigger boats, and I'm thinking it'll be we're going probably for a soft sail, so a kite, and the SS for the first part.
Terrific stuff, Duncan. Once again, we appreciate you being online with us today and being beamed around the world. Best of luck for the race, and we'll see you in Gladstone. Thanks so much for being with us.
Okay, thank you guys.
Cheers.
Okay.
Good luck.
Duncan Hayne there, the owner of Alive, the 66-footer, and we're only half an hour away from the start. We appreciate him being there. So I tell you, it's...
I'm so excited.
it's really starting to happen. Black Diamond, we've got talking about the former BlackJacks, as we have done. This one's actually going to be a terrific chance as well.
Absolutely. It's a little ripper, this boat. And the crew is chock-a-block full of absolute talent.
Is that not a diamond?
Yeah, I think that's not a diamond, yeah.
On screen? I think that's not a diamond, just which is, again, another boat well fitted with talent. It's going to enjoy this race. Downwind race, it'll get very wet, though. That's all I'll say on that boat.
That's really good, though, because then you don't have to worry about how you eat your food. It just washes straight off.
Drink it down.
Exactly.
Okay, so this one, is this one?
That's the big BlackJack.
There's the big one. There she is. Peter Harburg's BlackJack with Squawk on the helm, the Rocket Pew 100, current winner of the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, and this thing's going to fly.
Absolutely. The models are looking like 13 to 14 hours. Thank you to Clouds for sending me through their predictions. So that's well within record-breaking record-breaking time, so which is 16 hours and 53 minutes. So, but you know, it just depends how that all eventuates and how everything rips through, and that current as well, ripping down the coast.
How did you outsourced? I did my own modelling and got 14 hours.
She
and
cheated.
You outsourced to
She
Clouds.
cheated again.
I mean, you've got to work with your friends, Geordie.
I've got to say, they lost their mast last race.
That's right.
Probably the best thing that happened to them. They've got a new Southern Spars rig in that thing, and she's on fire now. It's a new rig. He was originally going to be selling that boat, but now I think he's back in love with her.
He's fallen in love with it. Yeah.
She's smoking around the course. So yeah, she definite chance for line honours, going brilliantly at the moment. A fantastic boat. Cannot wait to see how that thing goes.
Oh, and they're just off the back of a win in the Pittwater to Coffs, where they also broke the record there. So they've had an incredible year so far, the BlackJack team.
Terrific. Now, I'd like to add some spice to this.
Yeah,
you know,
here we go.
Are we getting
like
spicy?
To chuck in
Here
and
we
get
go.
spicy, but
Spicy.
this on the screen is, oh, well, it was on the screen.
It's still there. That's Celestial.
There we go.
Indeed.
Celestial. Sam Haynes' boat. This is going to be neck and neck with Ichi Barn, and I'm saying it right now, it's going to win.
You reckon Celestial's going to take it?
This is my tip, ladies and gentlemen.
That's your tip. While we're speaking of tips, do we have David Turton's tips anywhere? Do we have enough time to fit them in the show?
I'll find them.
I mean,
he's
going to say that boat.
Yeah, well,
Wistari,
say that boat.
As a matter of fact, he does. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the standalone record amount of entries in the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, and Wistari. And to Scott Patrick and his team on board, congratulations. Look at that launched. 1965.
That's nuts.
52 entries into the Brisbane to Gladstone, and I have been told reliably that this is his last.
It is his last. We know it's his last.
I appreciate that the bow number is 52 in recognition of the 52 races as well, which is just incredible. But it's very much a family team, isn't it? And you're from Gladstone. I mean, it's quite a proud Gladstone boat. It's part of history, essentially, this boat.
Absolutely. If this thing in retirement doesn't get put in the Gladstone Maritime Museum, it is a travesty. There you go. I'll put that out there. So let's have a look at this Mum 30 Italian job coming up now, and this has got a very interesting little story behind it, where it dropped its rig in the City to Surf, I believe, a couple of years ago. And when they got the new rig, it was actually short. So they not only had to put a new rig on it, but they had to set a new whole set of sails for it as well.
Such a nightmare, but hey, they've made lemonade from lemons, and now they're going to sail it short-handed. So one of our double-handed entries, Jordy.
Yeah, I think, you know, the Mum 30 will handle these conditions pretty well as well. So, yeah, 300 mils out of the rig. So they made it a square head to compensate and simplified the setup to go the double-handed approach. Double-handed is the growing force in offshore sailing. More power to it, I say. And the Mum 30 is a great little boat for it. And I think as Nick just said, lemonade out of lemons, you know, like they've probably got a better setup now because of it. So fantastic.
All right, we did talk about the big fella, David Turton. So he always had a tip here and there, and he always sort of hedged his bets a little bit, but he says a BlackJack record.
Okay.
He said,
that's a safe bet.
IRC handicap winner, he's gone back for Wistari back to back.
Yeah.
And then he reckons Celestial second, Ichi third.
There you go.
To David Turton, we wish you well sitting out there on his farm with his shirt off, stroking a banjo right now. So here is another Port Curtis Sailing Club yacht and Restless. This is the second of the Port Curtis Sailing Club yachts in the fleet. Johnny Ivor, who has done his fair share of media this year, and is one of the 2 local Gladstone yachts in this year's race. Under previous owner Ray Hobbs, she actually won the Courier Mail Cup back in 1996.
Unbelievable.
So, the Cape 35, and I've spent some time on it as well.
I was just going to say, this is home for you, isn't it, this boat?
This boat, yes, done quite a few Ks on that one, but that I have a new rule that I can't step a foot on a boat anymore unless every foot for my years on the planet, so I'm up to 54 foot.
And look at this. And look at this. Restless should really be then on that account 342 feet, because apparently the 6 crew have 342 years amongst them. 342 yacht Restless. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I reckon it's well over 400. So
that's a big boat.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's one of our friends, ladies and gentlemen, the Sail Training Association of Queensland's South Passage. I've done a few Brisbane to Gladstones on her as well, Geordie. She's in the cruising division, and this is a completely charitable run boat. This relies on charity to stay running, and they do so much in the way of sail training for our youth in and around the Brisbane area, and it's totally manual.
Nick told me they were doing double-handed.
Yeah, well, Geordie and I we're going to do it double-handed next year, I think.
Goodness me on that one. Good luck.
Double-handed times 10.
Oh, to Robin Elkington and a fabulous team on South Passage. It is a wonderful old boat, and look, it's just fantastic to have them in the race. Yep. So welcome to South Passage going to Brisbane. Here's Trouble and Strife, the Cookson design. She's a beauty.
Yeah. Ripper.
Yeah, Cookson 12. So they go pretty well, those things. New Zealand boats, so they're not shy of a bit of breeze. Very talented team, great name. A good friend of ours, Michael Quirk, he was trying to work out how to name several of his boats, and I said, why don't you call one Trouble and the other Strife? And so we've got the 2 combined.
Now you've got Trouble and Strife.
Yeah, Matt Williams and Dwayne Smith running that one. This boat sails pretty well. I expect them to do quite well in this event.
Great stuff. Well, we better find out where the heck these people go, because quite simply it is 308 nautical miles of fun and games. So our pre-RO this year is Ross Chisholm, who is better known for his time at Early Beach Race Week, and lives up in the Whitsundays, half his luck. But let's have him explain where these yachts are heading with this year's course video.
Hi, I'm Ross Chisholm, the Principal Race Officer for this year's Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone, and it's my duty to step you through the course for this year's race. The organising authority and host club for this historic race is the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, located in Shorncliffe on Cabbage Tree Creek. At precisely 11 a.m, all yachts will receive the starting gun and set course for the first turning mark off Redcliffe. From here, we will head east across Moreton Bay towards Moreton Island to the M8 Beacon before turning north for M9 off Tangalooma. Yachts will then work their way through the Northwest Shipping Channel, heading gradually back towards the top of Bribie Island. This year, the start of the race is midway through a run-out tide. This is not going to favour the small yachts, as they will end up battling hours of incoming tide before they round the Caloundra Fairway buoy and eventually get out in the open sea. A straight line between 2 points is usually the quickest route. However, in sailing, that's not always the case. Some yachts may choose to run inshore skirting Double Island Point or further offshore, opening up the angles, sailing faster while chasing favourable winds and current. With beautiful Fraser Island on the port side, yachts will pass Indian Head, the halfway point, and then Breaksea Spit before turning northwesterly, rounding the picturesque Lady Elliot Island and heading across what is affectionately termed the paddock. With Agnes Water 1770 on the horizon, yachts will pick up the first channel beacon, S2, before snaking through the flashing lights of the shipping channel. This can be particularly tricky at night with the many lights of Boyne, Tannum and Gladstone in the background and shallow bars on either side of the channel. Finally, the end is in sight with a brand new finish a line of sight off Patsy Lee Place viewing platform at East Shores to the A7 beacon, where volunteer finish crew from Port Curtis Sailing Club will fire a gun to mark the end of the race for each yacht, the beginning of the festivities in Gladstone.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
Mountain and the sky. Where do you wanna go?
You'll be glad you came.
You are watching the 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone. And there's the wonderful Grant Wharington, Stefan Racing. Now, I didn't hear, but I heard along the line, I haven't heard anything that Stefan was going to be on board this year, but I'm not 100% sure about that one. But there she is, and what a magic boat. And there, look at that for a view, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
That's, just pull that rope, will you?
Yeah, get on that. Do you know what I'm loving is the crew shirts on Stefan, but also on Maritimo. We're going back to the 80s with the fluoro this year. I'm absolutely loving it.
Oh, that is fantastic. And we thank Grant and his wonderful team for allowing us on board his boat this year, and we'll keep those shots coming for as long as they're coming to us. So, look, yacht racing's been described as chess on water. Geordie, I mean, it's mostly true when you're tacking up wind and all that sort of stuff, but would you say this is still true for an off-the-wind race like this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of strategy because one thing, trade wind, we're in a gradient breeze, so you're going to see a lot of different wind strength and directions. Gradients change direction and strength a lot. You've got to read the tide. You've got to make decisions based on what the other boats are doing. You've got to consider rating. So what we do in sailing is we take a whole bunch of variables, we compute potential outcomes and then make decisions based on that. The variables are just different when going downwind. They're not the same as going upwind, but they're still all there. And just being in front of the pressure, you know, with what setups you have, what sails you have, absolutely pure strategy the whole way. And as a tactician, you are literally, you stand at the back of a boat looking like you're doing nothing, but your brain, you're working like a madman the whole time. And
that's why we call it fantasy land, hey, Jordan?
Oh, lovely. Spoken by a true foredeck person or someone around the sharp end. Terrific. Look, we're also going out around Australia and around the world through Facebook. And if you have any questions you'd like to pose at us or even just say a few words, please hit our Facebook page and make comment. We're more than happy to do that. Let's go to one of our other entrants in the race now, and we're talking about Crankster. And Andrew Wickland is sailing this boat north with some of the PHRF Modern, IRC and ORCI.
Yeah.
That's their entries this year.
Cracking boat, Far 40, out of Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. They've been having quite a successful year, even during COVID. They've done Sail Paradise and won Sail Paradise last year. So I haven't seen them do an offshore for a while, but that doesn't mean that this boat is a stranger to doing this race. And Geordie, I mean, it used to be owned by Robbo Robertson, one of the greats.
Yeah. He's got some famous photos from the Hobart going around. He's had a range of different boats, but the Far 40, which is the original one designed, Far 40 from the early 2000s, late 90s, they're a very good all-round boat. Great boat to sail. When they first came out, they were rocket ships. Now they're not so much a rocket ship, but you know, if you get a lot of variety in conditions, they'll be there sniffing the whole time. So yeah, definite chance.
Coming up to 15 minutes, a quarter of an hour from the start, and just going back to Crankster for a second, one of the most experienced crews. There's over 100 Brisbane to Gladstones between them during the sailing season, so there's a fair bit on there, but I would hate to add up the amount sitting on Wistari at the moment too, so they could have a challenge there. So now, I believe we were looking at this boat before, but we can talk a little bit more about her. This is not a diamond, David Redfern's beautiful yacht.
It is a glamour. Hudson Hake, HH42. And the crew is pretty pretty awesome. James Whelan, Stacey Jackson, Lucas Down, Hamish Croissant. We did a before the start with Stacey Jackson too.
And you missed out.
Yeah, we were unsupervised, Jordan and I. It was next level.
Bloody lunatics running the asylum. But I tell you that it was a wonderful interview, and what an amazing sportswoman she is.
She is. She really is. She's one of the greats in our sport, and that's where I love that we're getting to the point where we're not talking about women and men. We're just sailors, and we're getting out there to have a crack. And this team has put the best team of sailors that they could together. And Stacey's in there right at the forefront as boat captain.
Probably worth explaining where the name comes from.
Yeah, I was just about to say that he purchased this boat and went to his wife and said, I've bought a boat. And she said, that's not a diamond. And thus the name of the boat.
The name.
So fantastic story there. And it's great to see the humour when it comes to these yachts. Look at that spectator fleet. And, you know, look, it's not hard to see why this is the premier Queensland yachting event. It's an icon of Queensland. And look, just a fantastic day today. You couldn't get better conditions. Now, this is Ignition, and this is the first B to G that Anton Prange is doing as a skipper, straight in the deep end.
Straight in the deep end. It's a beautiful Sunfast 3300, Geordie. These have been built mostly in the past few years for double-handed, but they're sailing at 4 up.
Yep. Guillaume Verdier design, and Guillaume probably one of the hottest designers in the world right now, designing all the fastest boats. A Frenchman, as you can tell.
Are you friends with him, Geordie?
Very good friends with Guillaume. He's a good man. He's probably one of the coolest blokes you'd ever meet, to tell you the honest truth. But very heavily influenced by that whole scene in France with the IMOCA 60s, the Class 40s, and yeah, it's got all the latest ideas from Guillaume, and great boat for handling.
Looks like a spaceship. The bow of it, it's on fire.
Yeah.
Not this one. This is Mustang.
Designed to go downwind is what I'll say.
She's a little rocket ship. I love this boat. Michael Muller's boat. This is out of Royal Queensland. G'day to all our friends at RQ. And also and Moreton Bay Trailer Boat Club. Apologies. This actually began her life as a centreboarder.
That's
as
right.
Goanna.
Stop it.
Yeah. And she's been all over Australia. So, yeah, it's a Mazda 920. You used to trail those behind your Range Rover, you know. Like that's how these things first came out, and it got moved around. It's lived in most of the states of Australia, and it's been slowly converted to an offshore racer. Hopefully they'll have a great regatta.
If you want to sail around the world, you jump into North Shore, and this is Concerto 2.
Really?
You won't go fast, but you'll get there, guaranteed. What a great boat, and out of the Wynnum Manly Yacht Club. G'day to Wynnum Manly and the team, and this is the 12th time this boat has done B2G, and even a couple of Sydney to Hobarts.
All mates on this boat. They all grow up at Wynnum Manly Yacht Club, so you know, they're going to be very intense, good, friendly. They know what they're in for. I think they're here for a good time is probably
100%.
my suspicion.
Spoke to them yesterday, Geordie, and they said the most important thing, and Grant, is that they get to Gladstone so they can enjoy the hospitality. That is their main focus for this race, to get to the other end.
Well, there's just nothing better than getting to somewhere where you're appreciated. And the people in Gladstone are so looking forward to seeing the yachts arrive this year. And for those who are around Patsiley Place, Auckland House, that's where the boats are going to go across the finish line, and we want a lot of Gladstone warm welcome. It is the centre of the universe, Gladstone, and we'd love to have as many people there as possible. There she is again, alive, who we spoke to just earlier on there with Duncan, Hayne, but getting ready, and the nerves are really starting to kick in now. We're only 11 minutes from race start, so and we'll be able to show now. Interestingly enough today, there is no gun. It will be a sound signal, which it loses a little bit of the theatrics of watching the puff of smoke, but there will be visual signals of a flag drop, and we'll get that for you, as you can see right now in the top of frame. We'll get that. Unfortunately, not the puff of smoke that's traditional, but we're looking forward to getting these boats underway in just over 10 minutes from now, which is incredible. But look, we talk about handicaps very quickly. Can we just talk about IRC to get an understanding of what that is? Who would like to have a crack at explaining it?
I can have a crack, and then Geordie, can you Can you have a better crack?
No, it's all yours.
IRC is the International Rating Certificate. This is what each of the boats have. So whilst we would love to just do line honours, that's not what yacht racing is all about. It's also about a handicapping system. So similar to a golf handicap, if a boat is actually meant to perform better, it's not penalised, but it has a higher rating. So once you get to Gladstone, you'll have your actual time when you finish, but you'll also have a corrected time. And we've just seen the flag go up for 10 minutes there whilst we're talking about handicaps. But so basically what happens is if all the boats were the same, then we wouldn't need to handicap, but all the boats are different. So each boat has a rating, and they're then rated against their performance in how they should have performed against the best boats, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a model that they put all the variables that the boat has, all the different measurements, and takes into account how they're set up. It's actually been a really, really good model. There is obviously ways to beat it, but it's not published. You're not supposed to know how it works. So, yeah.
It's all very secret snitch, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's worked really well. As you said, Nick, we're both used to racing identical boats.
Yeah.
And it's easier that way, but you don't get that in ocean racing. So.
Here's Matrix, Graham Furtado. We did have a bit of a chat about this earlier on. Look, these guys are going to enjoy that. Probably not featuring downhill.
No, not as much as your RPs and your HHs, for example. We had Not a Diamond on the screen before. Similar size, but it will really get up and boogie downwind, I would say.
Yep. So for those that understood the latest IRC explanation from Nick and Geordie, if you could quickly jot that down, send it to me.
And
via
get a
Facebook.
master's degree.
Yeah, I'd be happy to understand that as well.
Probably worth a quick explanation at the start. Do you want, Grant?
Let's crack into that if you can.
Let's do it.
Okay, so it's slightly different to what normal sailors would be aware of. So an advanced signal at 10 minutes, that's the green flag going up. A warning signal at 5 minutes, which will be a class flag, which is a yellow flag with blue writing, which is the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club. The prep signal will be the I flag. Okay, that goes up at 4 minutes. That's telling the boats at 1 minute when it comes down. If they're over the line, they have to go around the ends. Okay, that's what that means. And then the start signal will be the class flag coming down. So it's a 10-minute sequence, a lot of different flags. It's important to understand as sailors in the rules, whilst we're used to the gun, the actual timing is based on the movement of the flag.
There you go. Visual signals over sound.
Yep.
Here's a QCYC entrant, David Hamilton on board Skimmer. David is dead set keen on winning this event. It's great to see the QCYC boats. I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking at some people here in the studio. How many? Has it been over 50 years since there's been a winner? No, from the QCYC.
Wow.
It's been a long time. I wouldn't say 50 because no, that would be. No, I'm pretty sure. Someone will be able to tell me that, but it's been quite an amount of time since then. But let's go to this boat. Have a look at this red boat in here called Hot Seat. What a great boat this is for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was funded by Catherine's winning on Hot Seat. On
she
Channel
literally
9.
won
She
Hot
won
Seat.
50 grand on Hot Seat and then named her boat Hot Seat. But this is the only female skipper in the race this year.
Fantastic, and this boat really likes being in the ocean. It's a pogo. They're built. You love your French designs, Geordie, but they're absolutely built for long distances. So it'd be good to see her racing this a bit further. I've only seen her doing course-based racing since she bought it, so she's really going to enjoy opening her up.
They're pretty cool downhill. They love it downhill. It's very much like a Class 40 of a few years' design. They stay pretty dry, these things, and they will have double rudders, so you can really push these boats. So that boat will be an absolute weapon. There's a couple of them in the race.
This is a Far Design yacht built in New Zealand, even with the NZL on the sails. There you go. And was sailed to Europe in time for the owner to watch the Barcelona Olympics.
Oh
there
my
you go.
gosh.
This is Blizzard, and she's sailing out of the QCYC as well. Never's contested many QCYC events, but this will be the second time he's entered Blizzard in the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, and we wish him all the best. Look at that year, 1982. It is so wonderful, this event, that it has the absolute pinnacle of new designs and materials, and then we've got some wonderful older boats in this race.
That's what IRC is designed to do. Bring everyone out. That's what. That's the whole idea. Be built out of New Zealand Courier. I guarantee that that boat, that FAR 44. That.
What a glamour.
Yeah.
Okay, we're only 23 seconds away from the 5 minutes signal, and we're absolutely getting excited and hope you're pumped wherever you may be watching this around the globe. And Professor Nimmo is ready to hoist the 5 minutes signal to yachts around. Here we go, and there, that's where he gets the big bucks. Look at that, incredible. Is that upside down?
It's upside down.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
He's in danger. We need to send someone out and check on him.
Oh, goodness me.
I think we all noticed that at the same time. Oh, dear.
I can't wait for him to see that in the replay. That'd be wonderful. But there you go. 5 minutes until the start of the 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. And if that gives you a bit of an idea on screen now, have a look at some of the smaller yachts and have a look at some of the bigger yachts. What a wonderful event. And, of course, this brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council, this live stream, Easter in Gladstone. Look, let's have a look at some other yachts that we've got here. This is Charisma.
Yes.
And this is Chris Larson's boat entering in the IRC, ORCI and PHS divisions.
Indeed, it's a beautiful Kerr 11.3, one of two in the fleet. There's Charisma and Crazy, their sister ships that were built to race one another, actually. I think there were 7 in total when they were built.
Yeah, they go pretty well, these things. You'll enjoy these conditions. Probably hope they don't rip their mainsail apart like they did last year.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal. But there's the eye flag. We've got the eye flag up as well. It's off screen, but that's ready to go as well. So we're within nearly 3.5 minutes to go with the beautiful BlackJack on screen, Grant.
And she's looks like a code 0 that she's going to be popping there as soon as she gets clear. This thing is going to take off. We got plus 20 knots on her, easy. We've got drones that can do 80 kilometres an hour, so let's hope they can keep up with her. But it is so wonderful to see Peter Harburg's BlackJack in this race. I asked Peter and Squark whether they're doing the race this year, and they actually said, well, you know, unless something incredible happens overseas, then no, we'll be overseas, and something incredible has happened overseas, and so they're here and they're doing the race.
Yeah. For the people at home who are racing yachts, probably about a 120, 130 true wind angle off the start line. It would be and then there's a hard 90-degree turn as they come to the first turning mark. So most people will have sort of furled sails, which they'll launch, and then away they go. So just so you know, Sunshine Sailing Australia Gintastic from Mooloolaba.
I can get on board with a boat called Gintastic.
Yep.
Maybe I should do the race with them. Stop. Put me on.
A lot of people getting their offshore certificates here, so a variety of experience. John Bankart leading that crew, but yeah, so big excitement on that boat is probably what I would suggest. That's her in shot again.
How cool that everybody gets to go and experience a race for the first time in conditions like this. It's not even as lumpy as we've seen it in years past. It's going to be absolutely glorious. Yeah,
we've got 2 minutes from the start, and we've even got people tuning in from Canada. We have a viewer in Canmore in Canada tuning in to watch this race right now, and so g'day to our Canadian friends. This is Maritimo's last year's line honours winner this year. Look, last year you would have liked $10 on her to win over the line. I'd like to have $10 again, but I'm not sure she'll be pushing line honours this year.
I reckon the odds would be even better this year, Grant.
Be huge.
Yeah, it'd be massive.
We're counting down to the start. 1 minute 30 until the start of the 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. And also, may I say, thanks to our official timing partner, Adina Watches. And Adina will be giving away watches to the skippers and crews of the winning boat. But as we can see, the yachts are now really heading towards that line. This is where it all happens. 1 minute 15 away from the start.
Oh, look at them lining up there, Geordie.
Just like to say happy birthday to Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, it's out of time like this.
It's actually my sister's birthday today. I thought you were going to say that, but happy birthday to my sister, Bron.
We're inside 1 minute to the start of the 74th
So that means
Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to
birthday's
Gladstone Yacht
Leonardo
Racing. You're right with birthday calls. Look where we are. As the boats head towards the line, you will be just very, very soon see the most amazing colour display that you'll see in yachting in Queensland. This is going to be a great event, and here we are, only 30 seconds away.
You can see Stefan heading down the line, BlackJack most to leeward. Not a diamond with that white semicircle midway down the line. Oof. They're pushing it here, Stefan, actually. Oh, they're a bit closer to the line than I'd like to be with 25 seconds to go with a boat that long. And I'm just watching whatever that boat is with the white jib. They're incredibly close. We're watching this yellow flag now as we come in to go time.
Just remember the eye flag's up, so if they do go over the line, they have to go around the ends. Also remember that the leeward boat, the boat furthest downwind, has luffing rights.
And here we go. If we can jump on camera 4 for a second, gentlemen, you'll see the start line as it happens. And there we go, down to leeward. You've got the big boats. That's
camera 4, and beautiful unfurl happening on
there, BlackJack. They're starting to unfurl.
There we go. Perfect.
You look at the size of that thing, hey? So all the kites starting to pop. It's a short run, but it's a good one. They're going to be firing down to the turning mark just off Redcliffe.
Alive, just a Wimmera BlackJack on the hip, the RP66.
Oh, they're holding that beautifully well. Look at that. The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is off and running. And these boats, the next stop is Gladstone Harbour.
Oh, wow. How beautiful. We've got 37 boats here with their spinnakers flying from symmetricals to codes to the Assies.
I love that the older boats have still got the colour in their sails.
They
the newer
look great.
boats,
I think white spinnakers should be illegal.
I can see momentum down there with the yellow kite.
For it. Yeah, momentum's kite. We can pick that one out from a mile away. But BlackJack is off and racing. It's not as windy as they were thinking.
No.
Which is interesting.
It's definitely going to pick up during the day, but it's perfect conditions for the start. You can see the Cooper's kite there for the team, sponsored by Cooper's, and BlackJack starting to stretch out.
That's Craig Watson on Cooper's, by the way, the Jeannot 53.
Yep.
Jeannot. The Stefan Hare here, just about to, if we can switch to the preview. Stefan Hare's just sailing over the top of the RP66. They shoot just starting to crumble a bit there as they come up behind BlackJack.
So you can see on BlackJack, they've picked a code 0. Because of the speed they're doing, the wind's further forward on their apparent wind, whereas all the other boats have asymmetrical spinnakers. Well, all the other boats in front are shot. So it's an interesting one. They would have made this decision on BlackJack because they can just furl it up. They don't have to drop it. So it gives them a lot more opportunity and less chance for mistakes. So it was a pretty tactical decision made by the guys on the boat there. A little bit more work with spinnakers up and down. Going to be great fun.
A lot more low risk too. And this whole start profile was low risk. They were well back and then just sailed through, which was great.
Oh, look at that sight, ladies and gentlemen. That is just an incredible sight on Moreton Bay. And there we go. We've got Reverie, and she's a Beneteau, and David Rose there. Rosie's no stranger to the Brisbane to Gladstone.
Yeah.
He's been up in town for quite a few times, and we wish him all the best as they head towards that turning mark off Redcliffe. And to our friends that are at the Redcliffe Festival, you've got a lot of boats heading your way right now.
Oh, and quickly too. And Rosie, he's owned a few boats in this fleet. We've seen Charisma previously, Reverie. And apparently it's rumoured that he's bought the old wedge tail.
Which one?
The old wedge tail.
Oh, my
yeah,
Lord.
He bought it about 3 days ago. So he's one of those people that'll never give up on this race.
What is it? Something about the man that dies with the most toys wins?
Toys,
Yes. Oh, we should
That's
say
Rosie.
person on this now. This is the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, and look, what a fantastic start. All boats are away. We didn't hear if there was any boats that had to go back, but this is just the pinnacle of Queensland sport on Easter time, and a tradition that's been lasting for 74 years. And next year, the 75th race, if we don't have 100 boats,
we better get 100. I want 175 boats, Grant.
That'd be great. Have a look at this. This is on board Stefan Racing. Can someone grab that yellow rope?
Holy
moly.
moly.
Have a look at that spaghetti on there. But they know what's going on. Thank you very much to Grant Wharington and his team, and to Stefan Racing for allowing us on board there. What would that be sitting on about now? 18, 19 knots, you think?
Yep.
Yep, easy. And
Yep, they're flying.
you can see out the back quarter, so on the right-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the wake coming off this boat is probably similar to what you'd see coming off a motorboat. That's how quickly they're moving. And the RP66 Alive is just out off their hip as well. So they'll be tidying up to make sure that when they come around that mark down at Redcliffe, they'll be ready for their next sail change effectively.
Yeah, he was cleaning up that halyard, spinnaker halyard. That's exactly what he was doing. So you can see quite a mixture of the different boats in the fleet, and there's the colour that you can expect. They're heading towards the Redcliffe Peninsula as we look at that shot from behind. So we're looking north on the way, all the way up. If you squint at the top, you'll see Gladstone, 308 nautical miles away.
I'm squinting.
Yeah. But it is a quite difficult, challenging course to get in and out, and it's not until you get down to Caloundra so that you are able to clear away. You can see Stefan Racing. She is absolutely flying there at the moment.
Keeping up.
BlackJack is she's keeping up with BlackJack. There's not a lot in that.
I think BlackJack's underdone with the Code Zero. They've made a decision based around just being able to furl rather than drop, and you'll see that they'll extend as they come into that mark, because when you saw all that halyard being tried to be organised on Stefan Racing, that's all got to go up and the sail has to come down, and then they got to clean everything up. So I think that's what I suspect will happen. You can see the boat with a lot of learners on board, not quite having the best outcome there. They've got the reef in, they've got a small jib, and they haven't quite got that kite worked out. So it's not all professionals out here at the moment.
And that's what makes the Brisbane to Gladstone just such a fantastic event. First-time sailors, professional sailors. Can I just say hello to our viewers in Maui and around in the US now? Quite a few people in the States that are watching, and we appreciate you getting in touch with us on Facebook. Please keep telling us where you're viewing in from.
Be the great Phil McGain of the McGain family. He lives in Maui. He'll be dialing in. One of the absolute legend windsurfers, multiple world champion. BlackJack's smoking.
Looks like the pressure's increased just a little bit, and we spoke about the current earlier, and the tide at the moment it's not too adverse, but by the time the little boats do come around the corner, they will have a little bit of current on the head. So we're hoping that they can get around the corner in this pressure with plenty of time to keep the overall scores nice and tight. But how is Stefan here? They're triple-headed as well.
Yeah, that I didn't expect anyone to go triple-headed on this short run. I honestly thought that no one would put the effort in, but Stefan, the team on Stefan, so knowing Warro, well, there's no holding back for Warro.
And just to let those know who are watching, triple-headed literally means they've got 3 sails up in front of that mainsail, which is next level. We never used to see that until a few years ago.
Which used to be slow.
Yeah.
You'd always drop your head.
Well, you know how it was discovered was the Volvo Ocean Race with the 65s. They had all these identical boats, and what they, one day one boat lost its spinnaker, so they went triple-headed and started sailing higher, and then bought their apparent wind for it, and suddenly discovered that they're faster.
Yeah.
And it's brought it back.
Very good. And that's a boat we haven't been able to feature today, and we are trying desperately to get as many boats as we can, but Ragamuffin 3, thank you for the team up there. We love Ragamuffin. She's come all the way down from the Whitsundays, and if we do get her up there, we will. This is Flying Colours, ladies and gentlemen. The Cavalier from Royal Queensland. Now I can say g'day to the team at Royal Queensland.
You can.
Look, a great club. Support this race every year, and we thank them very much for their amount of people that they get here every year. But what a beautiful little boat.
And Cavalier, yeah.
They'll have a good trip.
Yeah, they've won on handicap before. They're racing handicap this time. It's a Cavalier 350 SL. So a nice boat, plenty of accommodation below. It's a perfect little boat for cruising up and down our beautiful coastline. As we switch back to our leaders, you can see by the powerboat wake alongside just how fast these boats are going. So the sailing boats are designed with lower drag. So you don't see as much wake off the stern, but the powerboats give it away. They're really smoking along. The whole fleet there encompassed in that shot. You can see a big cloud line to the right. Everyone will be taking note of that. That's pretty normal at this time of year. Perfect trade wind conditions, but you do got to watch out for little clouds dropping little squalls onto the fleet as they go.
Here's Maritimo, last year's winner, over the line, and they've got a nice little run down there. Actually, it doesn't look as breezy as we expected on Moreton Bay today. and it just to me looks like it's, that would be 10 to 15, luckily.
Yeah, well, when we look at all the, if we're going to all the observation points out at sea, and they're showing 15, they're showing 20 to 25.
I think it's just very puffy.
Yeah.
They're going through
It's
different
a gradient
modes.
breeze.
Yeah, gradient breeze. So small waves, a lot of disturbance, but the bigger boats that have sailed through as well, and the smaller boats are in a lot more traffic than the bigger boats. The bigger boats have managed to pop out now into that true breeze. We can see there Stefan to windward of BlackJack again. RP66 Alive is in the middle of them as we have this shot coming past. But yeah, the smaller boats have a lot more dirty air to get through, so it's not going to be as fun for them until they come around the corner and can level out a little bit.
I'm impressed with this view now, and I know that these two will be pushing themselves all the way now. There's, look, this is the turning mark. We're heading up towards the turning mark off Redcliffe, and I'm telling you that that's a wonderful position to be in up there in the clear air. Can I just say hello to Natalie, who's tuning in from Turkey, Freddie from Singapore, and Karen from Wongi Wongi.
Wongi.
Sailing capital of the world.
Yeah, all the top sailors in the world there.
Here's Brian Bailey with Ocean Essence, and this is a double handler for this year. He'll be enjoying that. That's a very comfortable boat to be doing this race in, and we're looking forward to caught up with him down at the bar at the QCYC last couple of days. Very, very excited. So we will just have a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Gladstone Ports Corporation 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race in a moment.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
And yes, Easter in Gladstone, not too far away. Wonderful place to be in Gladstone this time of year. And I'm saying there'll be a few people starting to mill towards the long lunch that they have up there in the B2G village today. One big long table, a whole lot of people enjoying seafood, and as it runs out their ears with a glass of shardy.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, yes. This race is brought to you, the live stream of this race, brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council, as we have heard. Look, the amount of different divisions today we've spoken about, but one of the divisions that we haven't spoken about is the cruising division, and we will do that a little later on. Hopefully we'll get a shot of some of the cruising boats, but one of them being South Passage, where we are able to start their motors.
Yeah, but here on screen we have Skimmer, hull number 16, the little Sayer 35, ripping around there. And now we're over to another yellow chute. Do you know what? Sometimes
that's momentum.
That's momentum. Yeah.
Momentum.
Oh, yay, momentum.
Yep.
Big shout out to momentum. Richard Went and Louisa.
Louisa Russ, yeah. As I said, they've got that bright yellow kite. There's a couple of boats with the bright yellow kite, but that Oceanus 50, they've gone the Richie Bonneau tops, the beige, the off-white, the tan, and enjoying it. Dave Lambourne on board, as I said before. This crew are a happy crew, is all I'll say. They're very much into it, so excited.
Terrific stuff. And if you want to go back and watch before the start, the 5-episode series prior to this on the Facebook page, Richard actually discusses the terror of falling overboard in the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, which is chilling.
Absolutely chilling.
Yes, as we're broadcasting live here at the QCYC, Genesis is in frame now. And from the...
A beautiful Hansi 415 from Moreton Bay.
Didn't Phil Collins just retire? Genesis?
I think that's with a G.
Oh, my gosh. But yeah, Michael Andrews and co-skipper, I've learned, Neve Larkin.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how to pronounce it.
Fantastic. Double-handed entry. I love that spinnaker.
Yeah, this boat sailing out of the Moreton Bay Boat Club, and they're going to have a beautiful time coming to Gladstone, probably late or maybe very early on Sunday morning.
They might
Saturday
miss the
night.
long lunch then.
Yeah, I'm
That's unfortunate.
suggesting that they potentially could miss that. Okay, so hello to Frank, who's listening in the very sailing pro area of Kalgoorlie in WA. So, g'day, Frank. Who have we got here?
Charisma, it looks like.
Look at that racing machine.
Yeah, she's a weapon, that boat. Absolute glamour. Little Kerr.
Yeah. You're very much boat suited to these conditions. They'll be very excited through this whole race. It's not often you get to see everyone with legs inside, but so it's not super windy. The legs are inside, and everyone's just having a grand old time. But the Kerr 11.3s, very good. We saw a Sayer boat on screen before. John Sayer's actually my neighbour. He lives just
really?
Yeah, so every time the Sayer comes up, I want to go, g'day, mate.
G'day, mate. How you going? But yeah, these Kerrs, there were 12 of them built. Charisma's number 3. Crazy was number 4 of the 12, and they were all built to come into Australia in 2007.
What would you call your Kerr, given that they're Crazy and Charisma, Carumba? Hey, Carumba.
Yeah,
there is Carumba.
There is a Carumba, but I don't think she's sailing this year, is she?
Maybe Icon Kerr.
Conquer.
No. Jingo, it's getting worse.
Conquer, yes, that's my vote.
Look,
that's a good one. We'll let you have that one.
We have been asked whether we're going to be able to get every boat to rounding Redcliffe marker. We are going to try and get a lot. We've got Maritimo, who have been a great supporter of this race. Their big boat has been thundering down towards Redcliffe now, and they will get a lot, and we'll try and fit as many in as we can. So thank you for making touch with us on Facebook. Okay. We've got Sassy in the picture. This is another QCYC boat. And Phil Lazzarini, who is a great supporter of this race, great supporter of this club. And this boat and Wistari have had more battles than Napoleon did. This is a rivalry that goes back through the ages.
Till the beginning of time.
I know Phil is dead set keen on winning this event, and he will be having a decent crack, and good to see them up there. Hopefully we'll be chatting with the team from Wistari soon live if we can get that link established.
And there is Crazy.
Yeah.
We got that little Kerr up. It is out of the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. And excellent crew. They the sister ship to Charisma, as we already mentioned. But Shane McNay is the owner-skipper of Crazy.
Terrific stuff. Listen, as we speak, and sometimes you can be lucky, you know, what do you say? Say it and it will happen. Mention it, it'll happen. But we have the wonderful Saskia on board with Wistari, the record-breaking yacht right now. And they're sitting there with Scotty Patrick. G'day, Saskia, and thanks for joining us after the start. It's fantastic speaking to you with the kite up.
Do we have some... We're hoping to get some sound. We're just waiting for them to cross properly to us. We've definitely got vision. Hopefully we can pick up some sound. But beautiful vision on board with Wistari there. Spinnaker flying. Big smiles.
I reckon they are one of the favourites for the event. Designed by In the Family. It's a family design.
Noel Patrick.
Yep, and they will really start to shine as they go around the top of Fraser Island, because it's they've got symmetrical spinnakers, so dead downwind. So a lot of the asymmetric boats will have to zigzag a bit, whereas Wistari can just scoot down and ride those swells all the way in. It's won the race 5 times. As you said, 52 events it's been in, and they're definitely going on a round the world cruise, is my understanding, is what they're doing after this. So
fantastic.
Terrific. We might try and cut back to Saskia once we re-establish a connection and have a chat with Scotty Patrick. He's there too, all plugged in. This is a perfect time, Xavier. Pink boats go quicker. Send it, Stefan. Yeah. Look,
Xavier also has a pink boat out of Southport Yacht Club. He has a bright pink Mini.
And
so that's what
he's about to try and break the Round Australia record in his Mini.
Yeah, absolute legend.
He makes his money from diving on boats and washing boats. Great guy. So
Waterline.
Xavier,
yeah,
mate, we're talking to you, bud.
Terrific stuff. I think we're getting close to establishing a connection with Saskia, so we'll be getting back there in just a few moments. But there is...
you can see plenty of action on Stefan.
They must be getting close to that rounding mark.
Yep.
So they've got a keen eye down the leeward side there, looking for that mark. And they'll shoot around here. It'll be a jibe, and then head across to the M8 on Moreton Island and up to M9 off Tangalooma. So look, they're ready to getting around. There's BlackJack approaching the mark off Redcliffe. And she, well, you will see her in just a few moments.
Yeah.
Beautiful fleet shot.
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't that terrific?
Look at that Cooper's kite. See, this is why white chutes should be banned. Look how good they all
that's
look.
True.
Look at that.
True.
What a ripper.
There you go. If you're not, I tell you what, I'll be keen for a Cooper's in around about 45 minutes time.
Nice shout. Nice shout.
Pale Ale. They came out when I was at university, the Pale Ale, and gee, that was a gift.
Am I in between two South Australians right now?
Yes,
have I
you are.
just figured this
Yes,
out?
you are.
How have we gone this entire broadcast? Hang on a minute.
Expats.
Yeah. I haven't said Stobie Pole yet, but there you go.
Oh, dear.
Very good. Maritimo there. And can we make another shout out to Michael Spees, who's a little bit crook and laid up at the moment. He would be sitting there holding that circular thing that steers the boat.
Now, that's who we should have had on to explain the IRC rating. He is a legend of all legends. And if we switch to our preview, we'll see Mr. Stefan Racing going for a little bit of a jibe there with their code 0. You can see those 3 headsails there that we were talking about, the triple header, or 3 up on off that bowsprit, and unfurls 1. Shall we go 2 or 3?
No, just the one.
Can I just say, from a former bowman myself, that is bloody cheating.
It is cheating, isn't it? It is cheating.
Unfurling and furling. What the heck? What the heck?
But
should be banned.
It's fantastic.
It's the electric pumps too.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, I don't just have to manually pump.
It is fantastic, you know, like you can actually sail around the world on a big boat now and do it by yourself. So they're just starting around the turning mark at Redcliffe. They'll be heading out to Cowan Point. They got an M8, which is a very well-known marker in the channel, out towards Tangalooma is where they'll be heading over that way. You can see the fleet now streaming down. Gives you some idea of the wind. Of course, when you're looking at wind on camera, it's always windier than you think, and it's always wavier than you think. You need to add a good 30 or 40% to what you're seeing.
It's really hard to actually capture what our sport looks like. I think all 3 of us here sitting on the panel have spent our lives trying to make sailing look how sailing looks, and this is as close as you can get effectively, but yet you still don't get as much spray or as much wind noise or as much interference because we're encapsulating it into the studio.
I'm going to throw a curly one at you, or
right.
Ronald from Maui is going to throw a curly one at you. He said, how much time does BlackJack owe Stefan over the course?
I bet you that's Ronald Simpson that is asking that. Owe Stefan over the course, it'll be a percentage, so we'd have to have a look at the handicaps for you, which are secret, as you would know, Ronald.
There you go. Okay, so here we got on screen now Pro World, yeah, baby. This is built in 2000. She's a little bit over 15 metres length overall. And look, if there was a better name for a yacht, I would suggest that, I don't know. But she's certainly going to be featuring when it comes to the sharp end. Formerly owned by the Rickman twins and was a winner of IRC Division 1 in the Land Rover Sydney Gold Coast race. She's got some pedigree about her too.
She does, and formerly also known as Heaven Can Wait. Basically, 2 boats got mushed together.
Yep.
I'm sure you know the story, John.
Yep. Rod Jones likes trying to find ratings winners, and it never quite worked for him, that one. But
Wellborn,
he's done well. So you can see on board that the Stefan is starting to head back out to the M8 mark. You can see a lot of the discussion that goes on board. The crew, it's obviously, they're not too worried about getting their weight outboard. Offshore races, they're more focused on not making mistakes. It is a difficult course. So for those who are watching, there's a lot of strategy and pre-preparing, because for the first, good 4 or 5 hours, they're trying to sail through a channel. And it's shallow water. This is a canting keel boat. It draws an inordinately large amount of water. So Very interesting. We've got this great shot. We keep looking at the whole fleet with the drones just having a fantastic time, just sitting up there.
Just chilling with them.
Chilling out, just watching. We haven't actually gone in on any of the TPs, which should just be behind. We should have alive the 66 and then probably into the TPs. And there we go. Just as I start to chat, we go into the Mayfair, which is the Rogers 46. Yep. Again, another boat that I think has a real chance at this event. Certainly will enjoy the conditions.
Speaking to James Irvine, he said his best memory on the Brisbane to Gladstone is last year's driving at 2 a.m. near the top of Breaksea in a 40 to 50 knot squall. Saw nothing nothing under 24 knots of boat speed. So there you go. There's Ronald. He's very famous San Fran boat.
It is a very famous San Francisco boat. Yeah, Ronnie's done a bit of work with me. He's a legend. He knows boats inside out and back to front. He'll be working with the Pat Cup this year, actually. So keep an eye out for that coverage. Another great ocean race around the world. But we are here for the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race as we move back into some of the smaller boats.
Do you know why the Maritimo left San Francisco? It's too cold. It's too cold. How cold is San Francisco?
Yeah, given we were just there, I think we can comment that it was absolutely freezing.
Terrific. In the preview window, we'll be able to show you in just a second. This looks like Ichi. Is it?
That's Ichi Barn, 001.
Now, are these going to make M9 in one tack?
M8 first,
sorry,
isn't
M8,
it?
pardon me.
Yeah, I'd say so. They look like they're just slightly cracked, so their angle looks pretty good. It was pretty tight, I was wondering myself, but just looking at the way they're set up, if they were sailing upwind, that jib would be way in. It's a TP.
A lot tighter.
Yeah, TPs sail really close sort of tacking angles in terms of, or they sheeting angles is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, they look like they're going to make it across.
Terrific stuff. Look, unfortunately, we haven't been able to get establish that link with Wistari. We do apologise for that, but you could see that the team on board were in good spirits, and Mr. Patrick himself, Scotty, was sitting on the side, which is unusual. Can I just say, having him sitting on the side. So I think he wanted to actually go as far as John Ibel with how much media has been cast upon him over the past 4 or 5 months. You are watching the Gladstone Courts. Oh, before we go to break, let's find Dream Lover. We've got her on screen there now. Richard Morgan's on the helm of Dream Lover and just disappeared off the edge.
MD 12.5 custom. Cut. What are we saying, Jordan?
2 people sailing it.
2 people double-hander, yeah.
There you go.
One of the 6.
There
Excellent.
you go. 6 double handlers in the fleet this year. You are watching the 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, and this live stream is being brought to you by Gladstone Regional Council.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
Your next holiday is closer than you think. Enjoy an array of activities on offer and celebrate Easter in Gladstone. Gladstone Regional Council's Village Precinct comes alive to host a range of events. Easter in Gladstone. You'll be glad you did.
And thank you for joining us for wherever you are tuned in around the world. And we appreciate all our partners that are taking this live stream event of Queensland's premier Blue Water Classic. It is the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, the 74th running of this race, and last year's winner Maritimo on screen now. And well, we did say just a second ago, Geordie, that we saw Ichi the TP52, Matt Allen's boat, rounds the Redcliffe rounding mark in front of Celestial. So in the grudge match, is that 1-0?
Yep. I think the grudge match is probably heavier weighted to the boys on Celestial. I think the Ichiban guys won't be saying too much. I think that's Ocean Essence on screen. It's my gut feel that might be Ocean Essence.
Yellow spinning cup.
Yeah, so it's either Momentum or Essence. So that battle will be an intense one. I'm interested. Their great navigator on Ichiban, Will Oxley.
He's an absolute legend. He's won more ocean races in the past 12 months than anybody.
He's probably the most successful sailor going around at the moment. I don't think he's on board.
I'm not sure he's on board, actually. I think there's a few different people on board. Kosteki's on board and Youngie's on board, as in Anthony Merrington, the usuals, Timmy Sellers are all on board Ichiban, and but on board Celestial, who did come around that turning mark in second, though Ichiban does owe a little bit of time to Celestial. It's early days, but you want to stay in front if you can, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
It gives you more options.
Well,
Whoa!
Here we go, Broach.
Blue Spinnaker.
Hang on to it.
Blue Spinnaker's going.
No.
Blue Spinnaker's. Oh,
That
God.
was very close.
I did send a note to Oxley last night saying, what's the strategy for the race? And he said, have a nice dinner with Sue. So he's at home with his wife, is my suspicion.
Yes. Well, perhaps even now that we're misreading the wind a little bit then, if they've decided they're going to drop that kite and get rid of it, so it must be very close to the Redcliffe rounding mark. Look...
I think that kite's actually torn. There's a bit of blue head up the top.
There you go.
That's no good. That kite's actually blown up there.
And I hope they've got another one because there's a lot of downwind in this event. So, listen, we've got some fantastic boats that are doing this event, and another Diamond is coming on screen now, and she is powered up and doing some nice tracking across the bay now.
HH.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how. There's a few of these. It's a production vessel, definitely designed for racing. They've put a lot of work into making this boat go well. The owner's not on board from memory, so it's being led by Hamish Crossan for the race. It looks good.
It looks really good. I'm really impressed. We have a drone shot just coming into play there too. Bit more pressure coming in, as we mentioned. It's coming in waves.
Just about to say that. I think there's more pressure coming in now. So there seemed to be a bit of a lull, but there's a bit of cloud cover coming over the top.
You can see them laying across to M8 too, by the looks of it as well. So that's pretty promising. That's
Black Diamond.
Black Diamond.
That's the RP42. We haven't seen that one yet, owned by Glenn Burrell out of the Southport Yacht Club. And we just got a bit of a shout out there to Black Diamond and the Shero team are on board. So great work,
just
Jenny Dixon.
Confuse everyone, it's also a GP42.
Yeah.
Because it's a Reichel Pugh. But GP, which was that rule they brought out, which was trying to be a smaller...
to try and make the class. Yeah.
A GP class, like a small TP52 class. It never quite took off, but they produced a couple of really fantastic boats. I love the GP42s.
And there it is again. And it was also a BlackJack. So now Black Diamond. They've won they came second in the Sail Paradise Regatta last year. Great to be seeing them do an offshore, though, because I think that this could be one of the smaller boats that does really well if they can get round the corner before the tide turns.
They'll smoke downhill.
They will smoke
downhill. While we've got these boats coming around that turning mark at Redcliffe, we might hang with these. There she is, Maritimo, as we mentioned earlier on. Bill Barry-Cotter owning this boat. And again, we thank Bill for his incredible generosity of having one of our cameras on one of the Maritimos. So they're shooting footage from the Maritimo.
So good.
We've got one on the back, as you can see now, on the yacht. So we've got a cameraman on their big Maritimo yacht.
Wow. Excellent.
And he's having caviar, cookies, strawberries and cream.
Where's my caviar?
I know, it's terrible. We sit back here. But anyway, there you go.
Prankster just going past there. Oh, and we're back to Maritimo.
Yeah,
that gives you a bit of an understanding of how much... They're close hauled, but...
And bow number 2 is Mayfair, is just behind Crankster. So it's Black Diamond, Crankster, and then Mayfair. Oh, they're all really competitive, those boats too. They love racing each other.
I just, you can just feel the excitement of these guys knowing where they're sitting in the fleet, adding up the numbers, even at this early stage of the race, saying, oh, we need to be in front of that one, or you can just feel it.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
You can't help it. It's
Look
how
at
we
those
work.
beautiful Queensland turquoise waters
That
there.
looks like charisma from the back corner, but we'll just wait and see.
I'll be honest, I'll be sitting there going,
Yeah, that's charisma
can
for
someone
sure.
feed me now?
Well, the yacht that lost their spinnaker, I'm not sure which yacht that was, so we're being asked on Facebook. I can't quite be telling, but they won't be needing that spinnaker for the next half to 3/4, maybe even an hour or so. But here is the yacht tracker. This gives you a bit of an understanding if we can zoom in a little bit there, Michael, and have a look where the boats are in accordance to
perfect
course.
Yep.
That's fully zoomed in. Thank you.
And you guys can all do this at home too, can't? Like we can. It's on the website or on Android and iOS, isn't it, Grant?
It certainly is. Make sure you go and have a look at that, and keep an eye on where they are in accordance to the Queensland Coast and Gladstone, and be down there at Patsy Lee Place for the new finish line. In fact, go and have a beer at Auckland House, and then duck over and give them a round of applause as they're coming up Auckland Creek.
So you can see what a complicated start it is. This is Fraser Island coming into the shot on the left, and in the sailing instructions it says you must lead that to port, which I think is the most redundant statement I've ever.
A little bit silly.
But have a look. Once you hit Breaksea Spit and on that track to Lady Elliot Island, that is right up the Khyber Pass. That is
Plenty of wind.
Plenty of wind, but she's right from the back.
Yep.
So you're going to see a lot of boats heading north, and I don't know if you'd see too many heading south, but they'll be certainly trying to open up their angles.
There's a lot of current comes into play just in that section there where that big wind is. So that could actually quite get rough. Very, very rough, because you've got a lot of wind going that way, and then current going the other way, and that'll steepen up the seas really quick. So we could get a bit of damage during the race.
Terrific stuff. All right, that's the
or not terrific stuff.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that.
All good.
I'm saying thank you, Geordie.
Yeah. So round the turning mark, we've just had Trouble and Strife and Coopers. They've headed around, and here we have a beautiful aerial shot of those boats that are starting to head over to M8, is it?
Yeah, M8.
Yes.
Then they bend slightly to port, to the M9. Looks like they're all fetching M8. In the past, they've had to be occasional tacks, so the wind's slightly south of east at the moment. And this is Queensland sailors around in Moreton Bay are very comfortable sailing to these marks. They know them very, very well.
Well, we've actually got a reef in there.
Yeah, that's Trouble and Strife.
Yeah, so, again, a little bit misleading from sitting here in relative comfort in the studio to seeing out there. But they're going to have, it's a beautiful downwind race. And may I just suggest to all yachtsmen all around Australia and the world, if you want to do a beautiful downwind race in warm waters where the spray splashes you and refreshes you at the time, it's magnificent. We want to see you at the 75th next year.
Yes.
Technically.
175 boats.
They actually may do a race without tacking.
Oh, yeah, because they might only
Could
die.
they lay this mark? There's no tax.
There's no tax.
Oh, wow.
That is so my kind of race. What are we doing in here?
Isn't that an automatic restart?
Come back.
I know it is in international 1 metre sailing if you make it all in one tack. But there you go.
If the Northwest Fairway may come as a potential, but because the wind may have gone further right by the time they get down to Caloundra and they've got the fairway mark. But yeah, they could go without tacking.
I didn't even think of that. That's an interesting observation. There you go, the king of observations.
I've never done a race without tacking.
Jordan Spencer.
It's a dream.
Maritimo looks like she's arced up. Have a look at that. That is just a beautiful boat. I'm impressed with this thing.
The crew on board, Kendall, Barry-Cotter, Murray Spence, Neil Sherring has jumped on board to help with a few crew replacements. Rick Roberts, William or Stewie Graham, Peter Jones, Warren Miller, Peter Sheldrick, Ben Lockyer and Ben Gumer. They're going to have a great race.
We might just pause for a second. Earlier on today, the Mayor of Gladstone, who has been instrumental in reinvigorating this race, is his discussions back over 6 years ago to make sure that we gave this a bit of a kick in the bum and got some wonderful vision for this race. And he is an amazing supporter, a long-time local of the city of Gladstone. We caught up with him earlier today to ask him his thoughts about this fantastic event.
Thanks, Grant. I'm here with Gladstone Regional Council Mayor Matt Burnett. Matt, again, thanks to you and your team at the council. This is actually the 6th year that Gladstone Regional Council has sponsored the Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race live stream. How important is it that we continue to live stream this event to the world?
Oh, look, firstly, isn't it a beautiful day in Shorncliffe? But it's so important, not just for the race, but for the Gladstone region as well. It boosts the profile of the community, and it also boosts the profile of the race. We saw people watching right around the world on their laptops and their iPhones and all the rest of it. But a big shout out to everyone in Gladstone. We've got the big screens at the GECC food court. They're watching it there. Also in our B2G village, where the long lunch is on today. And then up the road at East Shores, the big screen there as well. So shout out to everyone in Gladstone, but watching right around the world, our fantastic race celebrating 74 years this year.
Fantastic. And Easter in Gladstone is always bigger and better every year for the yachties heading north and for the residents of Gladstone. What can they expect?
Well, 60 years ago, we put on the Gladstone Harbour Festival to welcome the yachties in. So that's continuing this year. That kicked off last night with GPC's Family Fun Night. There's more live entertainment every night at the festival. There's rides for the kids. There's the sideshow alley. It's an amazing festival for the whole family. Across the river, or across the creek, at the B2G village is pretty awesome as well. Festival opened last night. We've got the long lunch, as I said, happening right now. And then Festival Summer Sounds for the younger ones, Seafood Festival tomorrow, and then the line crossing party. We'll welcome all the yachties in on Sunday night.
Looking forward to it, Matt. Hey, the Courier Mail Cup, one of the most prestigious trophies in Australian yachting history, awarded to the IRC handicap winner. Last year, local Gladstone boat Wistari took out the honours. Do you reckon she can do it again?
I think so. As you can hear, the wind's pretty good. So Wistari was designed for the Courier Mail Cup and designed for the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. So I think Wistari's got a pretty good chance of winning it again. Breaking a record this year, 52 times entering the race. So I beat Laura Barter. Not that they beat them, but Laura Barter had 51, now 52 for Wistari. Restless is racing as well. The team are just over there. So that's another local yacht. And I know the Gladstone community will be welcoming them all in, but particularly our two locals.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much, Matt. See you in Gladstone.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Ross Chisholm, the Principal Race Officer for this year's Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone, and it's my duty to step you through the course for this year's race. The organising authority and host club for this historic race is the Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, located in Shorncliffe on Cabbage Tree Creek. At precisely 11 a.m, all yachts will receive the starting gun and set course for the first turning mark off Redcliffe. From here, we will head east across Moreton Bay towards Moreton Island to the M8 beacon before turning north for M9 off Tangalooma. Yachts will then work their way through the northwest shipping channel, heading gradually back towards the top of Bribie Island. This year, the start of the race is midway through a run-out tide. This is not going to favour the small yachts, as they will end up battling hours of incoming tide before they round the Caloundra fairway buoy and eventually get out in the open sea. A straight line between 2 points is usually the quickest route. However, in sailing, that's not always the case. Some yachts may choose to run inshore skirting Double Island Point or further offshore, opening up the angles, sailing faster while chasing favourable winds and current. With beautiful Fraser Island on the port side, yachts will pass Indian Head, the halfway point, and then Breaksea Spit before turning northwesterly, rounding the picturesque Lady Elliot Island and heading across what is affectionately termed the Paddock. With Agnes Water 1770 on the horizon, yachts will pick up the first channel beacon, S2, before snaking through the flashing lights of the shipping channel. This can be particularly tricky at night with the many lights of Boyne, Tannum and Gladstone in the background and shallow bars on either side of the channel. Finally, the end is in sight with a brand new finish, a line of sight off Patsy Lee Place viewing platform at East Shores to the A7 beacon, where volunteer finish crew from Port Curtis Sailing Club will fire a gun to mark the end of the race for each yacht, but a beginning of the festivities in Gladstone.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
This is my backyard. 1770 to the Boyne Valley. Gladstone all the way to Lady Musgrave Island. This is my home, and I will explore every last place.
Where do you wanna go? Mountain and the sky. Where do you wanna go? Well, maybe we could fly. Where do you wanna go? That's time to wonder why. Where do you wanna go? While we're still got time. And while I've waited, won't you wait with me? And while I'm waiting, won't you set me free?
You are watching the 74th Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race being broadcast live throughout the world. And we're going to try and get her again, and I'm pretty sure she can hear us. Let's go to Wistari sailing her 52nd record-breaking race this year. And we've got Saskia Greenwood. Saskia, hi, and thanks for trying again. How are you guys going?
Hey. Good. We had a pretty good first lug. I think we're all pretty happy. So wind's certainly coming in. We like these conditions. Well, we'll like them all when we get around the next mark, but it's good.
Explain how close hauled this is to get to M8 there, Saskia. Are you making it comfortably, or what's your thoughts?
We are trying to stay high, just to stay above the wind of Sassy. And right now we've got that trimaran. I don't know if I can turn this around, but the super fast trimaran we're all told to watch out for in the briefing is about to come screaming past. So we're staying a bit high, mainly so we get clean air. Hang on, do you want to have a look? This thing is just amazing. Hang on.
Show us.
Here we go. You ready?
Hang
on, I'm going to flip you around. Have a look at this. Can you see it?
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
And look at that thing. That is a flyer, and that is from the other race that starts from Shortcliffe today and Sandgate Pier, which is the multi-hull event, a separate event to this one. But she is a fast event, a fast boat, that one. Sass, how is
she's crazy, right?
How is your skipper on board there at the moment? Is he happy to be doing his 50? Well, the boat to be doing the 52nd, or is he downstairs? What's he doing? Asleep?
No, he's putting his wet weather gear on, so he's very happy. I think he was happy. You were happy with the first kite set and drop? Yeah, he was pretty happy with that. So we're all happy. I've got Andrew Turnbull's on the helm. Tony Crean is down on the sheet. So, no, we're a happy crew. So it was a good first run. Hang on, here's Scotty. Say good day.
G'day, fellas.
Good on you, Scott, and congratulations to the Patrick family. That is a standalone record of 52 starts for the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. That in itself is just amazing. So please pass on all the congratulations.
We have 77 races between us, actually. We just worked out before.
Oh, my gosh. And Saskia. Yeah, no worries. Just got to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, in the pit. Good job. And Saskia, is it true you did your first Brisbane to Gladstone on Wistari?
No, I've done it a few times on Wistari.
A few times, yeah.
This is a...
No, but your first Brisbane to Gladstone was with her. Your first Brisbane to Gladstone was with her, though, yeah? When you were young.
No, we didn't do the race, but we were sailing. But no, my first was actually on a boat called Shearwater.
Oh, wow.
So shout out to Tony Orgel.
Excellent.
Terrific stuff. Well, guys, we so appreciate you giving us the...
She's getting squashed.
We appreciate that you've allowed us on board with Wistari while you're heading across to the M8, and we wish you all the best. I know the people in Gladstone right now are cheering you on and looking forward to you you getting in. You've got a couple of people that have put some dollars on you, so don't let them down. So we're a back-to-back Courier Mail Cups.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
yeah. Thanks to my brother, and also thanks to my brother and Prodemics. But I also want to say it's my niece's birthday, Priya, and I've never been in Australia for a single birthday of hers. Here I am, and I'm still not there. So happy birthday, Priya. Sorry.
That's 3 birthdays.
Terrific stuff, Saskia. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it, and best of luck to the record-breaking team on Wistari and fair sailing, and we hope you get there nice and smoothly. So thank you once again.
Thanks, mate.
Terrific stuff. See you at the finish, absolutely. And fantastic. And thank you to Scotty and the team for allowing us on board that boat.
And Grant, that's like a pretty special thing right there, to actually be on board Wistari live. You know, one of the boats that will be testament to and related to the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race for all of time, and we were just on board live. How cool is that?
Oh, it's fantastic. Let's have a look at some of these other boats. So they're heading across Moreton Bay now. As you can see, like it's almost like the pageantry has been and gone with those beautiful colourful spinnakers, and now it starts getting a bit serious.
It's serious for, there's so many people put so much energy and resources into going ocean racing. It's not easy. You've got to go and do your sea survival. You've got to get all the preparation, food, have all the safety gear. So it's very serious, it's a passion for these people. We all love our sport because it's so difficult. You never can master sailing. That's what brings you back, and there's so much to know. And out in the middle of the ocean, it's the purest form, where you're out there throwing yourself against nature.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's not just about the race itself. There's almost a race to the start line to then take part in the race, to then get to the finish. And I mean, I've not been to the finish of this race, but from what I hear and what everyone says is that the Gladstone community just completely absorbs that emotion and passion, which is something that's very special for sailing.
Terrific stuff. And may I just point out along the bottom of the live stream you're seeing right now are the sponsors that have been so kind to keep this race going. You have to remember that the people behind this are volunteers of the QCYC. It's an incredible amount of work. I've been involved now for over 6 years, and just behind the scenes, the team, everyone from our Commodore, Ian Gidlow, right throughout the team here at the QCYC put all this together. But if it isn't for the sponsorship of these fantastic businesses that you see underneath, this just doesn't happen. So once again, shout out to those people, and if you can spend money with them, please do so. Look, it's been a very fast race so far. The boats are heading heading towards M8 now. We're starting to lose contact with a few of them. So what we'll do is we'll throw to a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll wrap up. The 74th of Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race start is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council, and we'll be back in a second just to wrap things up here at the QCYC.
The 74th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race is brought to you by our principal naming rights sponsor, the Gladstone Ports Corporation. Growth, prosperity, community. Adina Watches, official timekeeper of the B2G. The generous support from these race partners. And this live stream event is brought to you by the Gladstone Regional Council's Easter in Gladstone.
Coming to you live from the QCYC in Shorncliffe, you have Grant Cooper, Nick Douglas and Jordan Spencer. And Geordie, just to explain to us a little bit about the finish line this year. It's a brand new finish line in East Shores in Gladstone.
Off Auckland Point there, which is just near the entry into the Marina Basin there. Gladstone, it's a fantastic viewing platform. There's a hill there. You look straight across. So from a spectator perspective, it's going to be fantastic. Our PRO, Ross, he's analysed this race brilliantly. He mentioned that it is a difficult port to enter. If you get there at night time, Gladstone Harbour is very, 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 very busy. There's a lot of lights moving around, and navigating into Gladstone Harbour at time could be challenging. So the ones that are doing that, well done. But for the spectators that are there, it's worth getting down. You've got a great viewing platform, and it'll be a ton of fun. Take a take an esky with some Coopers and have a grand old time.
Do you know, it won't happen this year, but there are many stories of yachts entering that harbour and the tide turning and light conditions and them going backwards in over hours versus forwards. So it won't happen this year. There'll be plenty of breeze all the way through, but there's some fantastic stories. And talking about stories, if you're in the Gladstone area, head down to the Gladstone Yacht Club, the B2G, g'day to Salesh and the crew at the Yacht Club, to also the B2G Village. If you want to hear some stories, there's yachties are always happy to sit you down and tell you a few thousand stories about the only thing that you will require in payment is a rum, I would suggest.
They do a bit of bar karate in the...
Excellent.
It was coming.
Let's just chuck...
Standing by.
Look, we had to get one in, ladies and gentlemen. I will credit these the wonderful people to my left-hand side. But let's have a look at the Yellow Brick the yacht tracker for a final time in this broadcast. Of course, you can go on the brisbane-to-gladstone.com website and have a look. But there they are. The boats have not quite got to that MAP beacon yet. So they're heading across Moreton Bay. I'm 100% sure that wind has increased, even looking from our vantage point here.
And incredibly close there. BlackJack, Stefan, the 66, and then I reckon the next two would be the 52s on top of one another, basically.
It is going to be a race to the finish, and it's probably one of the most obvious things to say, but sometimes in this sport you can pick a winner from halfway through the race. But this is going to be a race to the finish.
Line.
Yep, absolutely.
This is intense.
This will be very, very interesting, and so keep peeled to that yacht tracker. What time do you think you'll see them in the morning? Can I ask our producers to flick to camera 6 if we can, and we'll just have one final shot of our friends at South Passage. Now, can I just tell you that there are no winches on that thing? That is all. Seriously, it's all pulling ropes by hand, and they are no electronics. I mean, the only thing that's got a motor is the anchor winch. So the rest of it is all by hand. And they have a fantastic trip in front of them. And I wish them all the best. That is a great shot of South Passage, and she's been a friend of this race for many, many years.
So to answer your question, Grant, 1:36 a.m. and 35 seconds is what time our first boat will go across the line tonight. 14 hours is what we reckon. 14 and a half hours. I say 14 hours, 36 minutes, 35 seconds is my prediction.
Can you write that down? Seriously.
I'm going to guess before 2 a.m. So an early start for you, Grant.
Unless they stop
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Unless they stop at Tangalooma, which is a beautiful cruising area just there as they're about to get next to.
Chuck the anchor out. It'll be fine.
Well, can I just say to our team, the VMR in Gladstone, can you get mobile one ready? I hope you've got my my mobile number, the team at VMR Gladstone, to give me a call, because I'm going to be pushing Zeds with the mare for quite some time. Not with the mare. The mare will be I know you know what we're talking about. But, yeah, look, we'll be out there and we'll bring you that finish. With all things being equal, probably BlackJack, and how close these other fantastic yachts be behind that Rocket Pew 100 of BlackJack will be seen. But I'm thinking that it's going to be somewhere. I'm actually saying more around the 3 o'clock
You
mark.
reckon 3 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's almost about it for us today. We probably could use this to sign off. We have a little highlights package for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you've been around the world, it has been an absolute joy to bring the sport of yachting to you, wherever you may be sitting, and of course, the beautiful state of Queensland. This yacht race is just a jewel in the crown of this state, and we're so happy that you could join us today. With thanks to the Gladstone Ports Corporation, Adina Watches, the official timekeeper of the Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, and of course the Gladstone Regional Council, bringing this live stream to you. I would like to thank my co-commentators here today. They've been travelling the globe and they're here today. Nick, thank you so much for your time. You're an absolute goddess. We love you here, and not so much of a goddess, but Jordan Spencer, we enjoy having you here, and your insights into this sport are incredible.
So you love Nick and you enjoy having me.
I enjoy you.
Yeah.
I love Nick.
We're a good team, okay? A good team.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our broadcast that we've been able to bring you today. We'll leave you with some highlights of the 74th Gladstone Ports Corporation Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race. I hope all your wins are light and favourable, and we'll see you at the finish line in Gladstone.